an MSRP as low as 150 bucks. And it had 450 minutes of extras, more than ever was released before. But then, if you read Anime News Network, you heard about all the, big soap opera about, how with the downturn in the industry, ADV fell on hard times. And, we're very, very thankful to them. But, there was a lot of gloom and doom, because, kind of like when Animigo started releasing Macross on home video on DVD, about a decade ago, a lot of, there was a big debate between the Robotech and the Macross. Well, now with the original Japanese version available in the US market, Robotech will cease to exist. And, well, Robotech is still here. And also, there was a lot of gloom and doom with these companies, the license for Robotech passing on. There was gloom and doom stories. But in the meantime, Robotech has also transitioned with the times. Now, you can watch Robotech for free anytime you want. Netflix, if you have a subscription, you can get every single CD, DVD. And if you're on Hulu or YouTube, if you don't mind watching the commercials, you can watch any episode at any time, any smartphone you have right now. And of course, if you're into iPads, you can watch it on, through Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, what have you. How many of you, despite the move to digital, will have your shiny discs pried from your cold, dead fingers? Okay, that's the way Star Trek fans are. Even though they can watch Star Trek online at any time, there's just something nice about having a nice shiny disc at home, at your leisure. If society falls apart and the internet goes down, you can still watch your favorite science fiction series. Yeah, so, how many of you are actually surprised by this? Okay. You know what? The thing is, we take for granted the news that we post on Robotech.com, but every year, this is why, reaching out to fans, we discover is very important, is fans always get surprised that now, A&E Entertainment, yes, that A&E, the big cable channel, the network, this is actually the first anime title that they've ever picked up. And yeah, so we're very, very grateful that we partnered with them. And it's now in stores, available in brick and mortar stores and online for $39.95 to $49.95 for each saga. I'm talking the whole saga, beginning to end. So, and they're in very compact cases. These are dual layer discs that can hold a lot of episodes. And so they've actually filled each disc to the brim with content. And so it's very compact. And also, you can get the complete series for only $99.95. This has more extras than we ever had before. 10 hours, over 10 hours. So this is actually the best set we've had to date. We actually worked hard with them last year, and we had to move really fast because when the ADV license was open, available again, they jumped on it and they said they asked us last year, right before Comic-Con, they said, "Hey, do you think we could have this done by Christmas?" And we were like, "Are you guys insane?" Because I don't know if you remember how ADV released the extras over 7 different releases, each a quarter apart. And so think about it, 7 annual quarters. They released all those extras. They wanted to release more extras between the Comic-Con announcement and Christmas. So we didn't get a lot of sleep during that period. But it was worth it. The effort was worth it. And actually, here's something we want to show you. A lot of the work that we had go on at the end of last year, which was a lot of fans complained when we digitally remastered Robotech. One of the segments that just didn't meet up with the rest of the series was the Sentinels. How many of you are big Sentinels fans? Because that was like the last old school 80s Robotech that was produced after the original Robotech. And that was not remastered. And if any of you read Robotech Art 3, it was a salvage job by Carl Masek because the project had essentially collapsed, with the issues with the yen market, the yen currency exchange, and also with the toy partner pulling out at the last minute. And so the Sentinels project didn't happen the way it was supposed to, but Carl wanted to make sure the fans saw this. And so essentially he was given very few resources, and with essentially with Band-Aids, he had to put this project together. So this is a segment from Sentinel's promo reel, which was one of the worst looking segments on the Robotech DVDs, from ADB. And this was the remastering job we did. We did what was known as a temporal noise reduction filter, in which the software now looks ahead several frames and looks behind several frames and can actually pick out the noise piece by piece. And so this is made it grain-free, very clean. And here's a little split screen, so you can see the difference in quality. And also another thing that happened is that because it was also a salvage job, there were many scenes that Carl wanted in the Sentinel's feature that was released, but the scenes were just not done yet. There were incomplete scenes. And so one of the most well-known scenes is, there's actually a scene in which they're launching in a Southern Cross era shuttle, and then it switches to a Macross era shuttle, and it switches back to a Southern Cross era shuttle, because there was just no shot to go in the gap. And the thing is, most people, they kind of, when you're a little kid, your suspension of disbelief threshold is a little bit lower, but other people might see and wonder where that came from. But here's just a little example of the work that we would have gone through. Oh, and actually, one more thing. We also reframed it, and just like digitally remastered Robotech, we have now more picture than we had before. So here's an example of the framing that was done before, and now we have some more picture. This is one of the best examples. This is where we actually got the most picture back. In some segments it's a little less, some segments it's more, but that gives you an example there. And so here we go.
Remember, we are about to embark on an expedition to the farthest boundaries of the universe. It's enough to make
before and after.
Control, this is Mission Command. Shuttle reports Dr. Lang and his team are now on board.
All our systems show you are cleared for departure, Mission Command.
Shuttle now on approach to Robotech Repair Factory. Docking will take place in 15 minutes.
So essentially you can see the general gist of the storytelling has been kept about the same, but you'll notice that the scene has been improved, shot has been replaced, and it flows a little bit more smoothly now visually than before. And also one thing we've done is Robotech before, because it had been edited in video, was what's known as interlaced video. It's the standard for old picture tube TVs. You ever get the sawtooth when you try to do a frame grab? Now we've retimed it. It's now at 24 frames per second. So essentially it's been retimed to match that of the original film. And so if you ever watch it on a big progressive HD TV, it scales up. The up conversion is much nicer, much cleaner than before, so you'll get a better picture. And so this is Sentinels has gone from one of the worst looking clips to now one of the better looking clips in the DVD set from A&E. And also, even though Robotech had been available ever since 1995, it's been widely available, it always continues to reach new fans. This was one of A&E New Video's highest grossing releases, and it was one of the highest shipping SKUs of the year at Walmart. But everybody says, well, it doesn't matter how many units you shipped. How many do you actually sell? Well, it actually had unprecedented sell-through rates, more than double of typical DVDs, home videos that A&E typically sold. It had one of the highest sell-through rates at Walmart for the home video category. So it did very, very well. We're very happy with that. So we're very happy with having found a home video partner with A&E. So there you have it. It's available everywhere, very easy to Google, and very affordable. And it's the entire series, and the most complete set to date. And how many of you speak Spanish? I know it's a border state. Every time I go to border states around the country, we get a lot of fans who complain to us with the ADV release about the voice actors. How come the voice actors were changed? It was because we couldn't find, we had trouble getting contact with the original Spanish voice actors, and there were some issues trying to work with them again. But now that we have gotten into full contact with the original Spanish cast from the 80s, in Latin America, we've re-released the original Robotech with the original voice actors, and also for the first time ever, the Shadow Chronicles, now with the original Spanish voice cast. It took us several years to do, but we got it done, and we got it done right. And actually, here's a little snippet of Shadow Chronicles in Spanish.
Ariel, nunca podré agradecerte lo que has hecho por el planeta Tierra.
Me gusta pensar que también es mi planeta.
¿Tú estás aquí? Pero, ¿por qué no abandonaste la Tierra con los simios?
Este planeta es el único hogar que he conocido, Scott. Ahora, ¿no vas a agradecerme?
Sí. Gracias. Debo unirme a la flota.
Now, it sounds, if you understand Spanish, it sounds great. It's great voice acting. And one thing about the signature actor, Jesus Barrero, he's well known in Latin America because in Latin America, he is the Spanish voice of Luke Skywalker. So, we didn't just get any voice. We didn't just get any voice cast. We were very gratified that we got. And there's some irony in that Mark Hamill having worked on the English version of Robotech: The Shadow Chronicles. So we're very grateful that we got a great cast for the Latin American release, and it's doing very well. And if you're into this version, it's widely available now. And also the original Robotech release, it's being released by one of the largest home video distributors in Mexico right now, Pantalla, also called On Screen. They started releasing in April, and over the course of this year, they'll be releasing the entire series. Big question we got, what's going on with Robotech in print? Our last graphic novel that was released was Prelude to the Shadow Chronicles. And this had some tie-in elements to Robotech: The Shadow Chronicles scenes that you haven't seen before that tie the Sentinels and the Shadow Chronicles together. This was something that fans really look forward, especially if you were into the old Waltrip comics. However, the US release of the next graphic novel, which was Robotech Love and War Stories, which we have previously announced here at Anime Expo, had actually been canceled. Unfortunately, what had happened was with declining print numbers in the industry, and we're talking the entire print industry, DC had unfortunately closed Wildstorm Productions in San Diego, the company that was actually doing the production work on Robotech comics. This was too bad, but the thing is the work didn't stop there. The work had actually been completed on the graphic novels and had been licensed around the world. And so they did get international releases. Now, folks do ask us, what's going to happen to, Robotech eventually, because DC Comics still has the licensing rights. It's over there, but Wildstorm Productions is no longer to be, who have been doing the work on Robotech. Well, DC Comics is looking into the future. A lot of the people who used to be on the Wildstorm staff have been moved into a new division of Burbank. They've been moved into what's now known as DC Digital. DC now sees digital publishing as the future instead of conventional print. And this has actually affected us in many categories as well. Sales of novels and science fiction category are also declining very rapidly. And what happened is, with the introduction of a device, how many of you have an iPad? Yeah, or an iPhone, or any of those mobile devices? Numbers have continued to decline. One of the things that we've done in working with Random House or Del Rey is we've consolidated the Robotech novels to make them much more easy to collect than the 12 that you had before. And now they're available in ebook form. So any of you with a mobile device right now, iTunes Store, Amazon, Kindle, it's all there. You can get it through online. So that's generally our transition from physical media to digital with Robotech. And we've got other ebooks in the work. Now that we've got the main core sagas done, we're actually working on the others for those of you who are into the extended continuity. And also Robotech role-playing games. It had been a while since the last Robotech RPG had come out. Yeah? I hear that. I hear you guys. And the small manga-sized book was a mixed bag. This was kind of a hit. It actually did well when Tokyo Pop was at its height. People were into this new little tiny manga-sized format. But what happened was fans found that when you hold a book that's of a very light weight together, the weight of the pages is not enough to keep the book open, especially when you're playing role-playing games. And look what happens. And those RPG books were even smaller than that. And so they listened to the fans, and for the next book that just came out, the new generation RPG book, they've actually gone back to the conventional size. So, so for those of you who are into the old school Palladium sizes, they've gone back to that size. And here you guys get a little sneak peek here. Here is the cover art for the next volume that's coming out. And here we go. It is called Robotech: The Genesis Pits. And essentially it's going to follow the InVid more closely. And it's going to be about the Robotech Expeditionary Force. So now, some fans may ask, well, doesn't that overlap with the Sentinel stories? And if you're really into following the Sentinel storyline, you know that the Sentinels were just a small part of the story. The big story were the events of the Robotech Expeditionary Force. So they've got 2 books coming out, which is this, Robotech: The Genesis Pits, focusing on the InVid in occupied worlds, and then the Robotech: The Expeditionary Force, and that's going to focus on the REF in space. And now we've got one nice little treat for you guys, for those of you who are here. The first time we had a Robotech calendar was in '88, and the last time we had one in print was in '96, and there had not been one for a very long time. And we've got the Robotech 2012 calendar. It's the nicest print job we've had to date. Very nice printing, nice new artwork, some classics, some new, and we'll let you know how you guys can get a hold of some of these. Okay, now, how many of you like to collect toys? Transforming toys? All right. All right. Yeah, now, everybody was having Valkyrie overload. You know, there were so many different scales and sizes of VF1s. Everybody had VF1s coming out of their ears. You know, how many more times can you buy Rick Hunter? And at the same time, the last time people were able to get battle pods was with the Matchbox sets. You know, and the proportions of those were a little bit dorky. You know, I mean, honestly, to fit a little action G.I. Joe scale action figure inside.
Wasn't that with Exo Squad?
Yeah, they actually co-released those with the Exo Squad brand during the early '90s. There's a whole soap opera with that. Otherwise, this is going to be a 3-hour panel. Anyway, this has been a big success. Toynami released these, and MSRP on these were between $24.95 to $29.95. They kept the pricing really low on this. And fans responded. These did very well. And the last version that they did were the light artillery versions. And they've been doing them in much more limited numbers. And so guys, you snooze, you lose, because the last version that they did, the movie editions, the green ones, you know, people said, green ones, isn't that a little obscure? Well, they're sold out. So if you didn't get them, they're gone. So, you know, get them while they're there. Just to give you guys a little sneak peek, this is the stuff that they're working on next. We don't have release dates for these yet, but actually, if you guys come to Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, they're actually going to have a nice display there where they're going to show all their prototype skulls for the stuff coming in the future. So here's a paint of the prototype. Wow. we got a word of approval from the man. I want one too.
Can we get a deal on it somewhere?
Oh, yeah, this you know, come to our office, we'll work something out. Yes, so other stuff on the drawing board, remember the old VT-102, or the movie version, or that. Yeah. Yes, in the 1/100 scale. So, you know, the goal is so that this will be available in an affordable price, so you don't have to, you know, sell a kidney to buy one of these.
It helps, though.
And let's see. Also, we were asked, what about more Shadow Mecha? When we had the Dark Mospeada on sale, this is under the Japanese brand name. These blew out, and we're also completely out of the original Shadow Fighter from the Alpha series, and so there's actually been a lot of people contacting us about this. And more accessories. People want more accessories with their transforming toys, so this is a little prototype we showed about, like a year or so ago. It was okay, this looks like the Beta Fighter, but this Beta Fighter is different. What's that thing on top of the Beta Fighter? So, why, it's a synchro cannon. And it's actually a detachable accessory. So, and it actually transforms with the toy. It's compatible with the transformation of the toy. So, you can get it either with the synchro cannon or with the missile launchers, both accessories together, only a slight increase in price. And Toynami has actually already announced this as I speak right now. They'll actually have a prototype available at San Diego Comic-Con for you guys to check out in person. So this is the Shadow Beta finally coming out. Now fans had asked us about it because we had Beta Fighters come out in quick succession up until about a couple of years ago, and then Toynami halted work on the Shadow Beta. Now the reason why was when there was a downturn in the economy, we're being very realistic about this, this toy was over, $150. And the thing is, during the bottom, when bottom hit, with the market, it was hard for, folks to justify a $150+ toy. And that's why they switched gears, started doing a lot more 1/100 scale toys under the $50 threshold. But now it looks like the business has started turning around in the toy market, so now Toynami is going towards back towards these big ticket items again.